I'm back. I had to go run an errand. I really wanted to finish this one, so I'm doing a part two. Look at that landscape. You'll have to watch part one and see how I came up with this. It's pretty amazing. Uh, what I want to do now, I'm going to put some more foliage in here, and then I'll worry about fixing up the grass and stuff. So I want to put a bunch of I really hate working with these small brushes, so that's why I like that's why I like to do uh, larger larger pieces. I really don't like this detail stuff, but I'll usually do this off camera, this kind of stuff. I want to have some trees in here, kind of like going off, getting smaller in the distance. This is like, I'm just showing you an idea, and you can put your trees wherever you want. And you're free to use this. You're free to use this design if you like it. Whoops, got a little bit too fat down there. I'm just using brown here, uh, but you could use a darker color if you want. I'm kind of going fast. I still only have an hour. I had to go run an errand for somebody, and that's why I'm doing a part two here because I had to leave. So you'll probably have to use a liner brush to get some smaller branches on these trees. I'm just going to put a few in because just so you can kind of get an idea, the sense of the picture. That looks pretty good. I like that. I kind of made this one a little too big here, but maybe I'll just widen the tree a bit. Now you could put evergreen trees here if you want. I'm going to try and put a few, I'll put a few branches on these trees, see what it looks like. Uh, Run this one up here a little bit. I'm using a pretty big brush, but should be using a liner brush here to make some smaller branches. Look at that. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to grab my fan brush again. And I'm using the burnt umber and black mixture that I sketched the painting with. I just put a little more black in it because I want it dark. I want this foliage to be dark down here. That way, if I want to highlight it, I can highlight it. It's looking pretty good. You could put some shrubs all around your river here. I'm trying to rush. I really like this. I'm going to show you how to lighten up this grass now. Let's put some light back here in this valley. So make sure you got get a big filbert brush, and make sure you got clean water. Mine's a little dirty, but grab a little bit of yellow, and with the wet brush, get that paint to run like water. And let's put a little sunlight in this valley here. You just got to take your brush and kind of wash part of that valley back there with this yellow. It's almost like ink, okay? Just like that. It'll look like sun's hitting there. Now we can do some other sections here. I'm going to leave this side dark because the sun's hitting more over here. Let's put a little sunlight on underneath these trees over here. Start by just doing underneath the trees and then see how it looks. It looks pretty good. Just like the sunlight's hitting right in those areas. And then you can do a little bit down in here. Around the river. We'll keep this side dark because it's in the shade. I want the light coming from the right. Looks pretty good. Oh, we got to do the clouds. That's what I forgot about. I put in my description, if you're new to painting, it's really a lot easier to start off with. This is a 16 by 20, okay? Believe it or not, it's easier to learn on a larger piece because painting really small is difficult, okay? It really is. That's why I had trouble with these small trees. It's more detail work. It takes time. So, but when you're doing large pieces, it's a lot easier. Okay. That's just something to keep in mind. If you happen to start out with a small canvas and you think it's hard, well, yeah, it is hard. Get a bigger one and start with a large canvas and then work your way down to smaller canvases, okay? Trust me, this is a lot easier on a larger canvas, making these big hills. Uh, so I lightened up this. Let me see how it looks in the frame. Yeah, it looks all right. I mean, it's not a masterpiece, but it'll work. Uh, I'm gonna grab a round brush and make some light brown. I'm just putting a little white in this brown that I made, and I'm gonna try and just highlight one side of these trees with some titanium white, just to give it some dimension. Real loose. All right, that looks good. Good enough for now. I'll work this a little more after I shut the camera off, but I'm just trying to get the design done. Now, if you want to put highlights on these bushes, you can. Just lightly touch some color. Imagine where the top of the bushes would be, and then touch it. I'm using white here. And just like that, and separate your bushes, okay? Just barely touch it though. Let the white set on top of the paint, okay? And highlighting takes a little practice. You gotta see, you actually gotta pretend the bush where the top of the bush is, okay? If you just start on the right and touch the bush and go a little bit to the left, just pretend like you're hitting the top part of the bush. Leave the bottom dark and separate the bushes. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4 bushes there. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but you can also use different colors, of course. I'm just using white there. Let me see what else I can do here. I would put some more twigs on these trees, okay, to make it look more like I can't find my liner brush. Did I already use the liner brush? No. Oh, here it is. I set it aside because I left it in the water and the tip kind of bent like that all night and kind of got messed up. So with the liner brush, get your paint to run like ink, and we could put some more branches in here. So these look more like trees with branches on them. You got to get that paint to run like ink. Just put a lot of flow aid in some water, and then see it'll run like ink. And you can make some cool. The wetter it is, the easier it is to get this paint to flow off your brush, okay? Just put a lot of branches on these. I'm not going to put any leaves on them because I've got enough foliage in the painting already. So I'm just going to leave the trees bare. It's not the best tree design, but there you go, something like that. Get some branches up there to look cool. All right, so what else can I, oh, we got to do the clouds. I'm trying to think of what clouds I want to use here for this piece. I came up with a new way to do some clouds. I'm going to try it to show you. Now these are not the easiest way to do clouds, but I'm going to show you how I do it, okay? I'm going to take some of this blue. This is right out of the tube, okay? And let's just put a little white in it. Just a little bit of white. So it's a little dark and not so dark like out of the tube. Okay, now I'm going to use a round number 6 brush. I'm going to rinse that blue off there. Now the brush has to be a little wet for this. Just touch into that blue. And you want the brush wet, but not too wet, so dab it on your paper towel or something. Now these are going to be some clouds where you got to wiggle your brush around, okay? It's kind of difficult. You got to kind of have a smooth hand, okay? Make sure your brush is a little wet. You just want the tip of it to have paint on it. Just like that. Now rinse your brush off and dry the brush off with a rag. Now come back to these clouds and you're gonna blend them into the paint. Very lightly go over it. Just very lightly. like that. You see how that looks. Pretty cool. It's almost how I had them the other day, but you got to really make them really cool looking. Let me try some bigger ones up here. Okay, just like that. Let me let that dry for a second. It's a different way to do clouds. Now take your brush and wipe your brush off. Gonna get a larger brush, a filbert brush. Wipe your filbert brush off, dry it, and kind of go over those lines. There we go. Very good. Let me try a white one. Let's try a white cloud. Go back to the 1 inch round. A number, no, it's a number 6. I'm sorry. Let's put some white ones in here. All right, there's some weird clouds you can give a try. It's a different type of cloud. It probably doesn't work for this application because the sky's so big. But if you had a smaller cloud, smaller sky, it's kind of cool. I just didn't wiggle those in the best way. So let me show you how to fix that up. Let me get some more white down here. I'm going to use this, I think this is a number 12. Acrylic clouds can be easy. You just got to come in here and touch the top part of your cloud in like this. And we'll have one running up over here. And maybe a small one over here. Now pull the bottom to the right. These clouds are a little easier to make. Once you put your top in, just pull the bottom of the cloud one way because it'll make it look like it's blowing. I pull it either to the left or right. Either way is fine. We'll put a big cloud right over here, right across the middle, coming down a little bit. And then pull the bottom part, just the bottom part, I'm going to probably put a shadow on those when I'm done. Let's run one over here. Kind of going fast. Pull this one this way. All right, there we got some white clouds now. I'm going to try and hide those blue streaks I made because I don't like them now. Yeah, I got to go to band practice here in a little bit, so I'll try and get this one done. I'm really changing up the whole sky now, making it a little different. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-ba. So I went to the music store and I looked about getting a microphone so I can put a microphone up here so you can hear me better. But they were out. They had them there, but they were out. So I might be able to order it online. So that'll be cool. It'll plug right into my iPad, go into an interface, and then I have a mic you can run from the interface to up here. And then my voice should be able to, you'll be able to hear it a lot better, for sure. All right. I'm trying to work it. It's better to work on a wet sky than one that's kind of already dry. So that's why I started over again. But I've got so many different cloud techniques, and you need to learn a lot of different ones, because depends whatever your landscape looks like. What you might want to use a different cloud technique depending on what landscape you have down here. Ugh, this is starting to take shape. I want to lighten up my mountains up here a bit. I might use a knife. If it doesn't look good, then what I'll do is I'll brush it with a brush. I'll just lay some white up there. That looks all right. That looks pretty good. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end it. I think my creative button is not working right now, but I kind of like what's going on there. I'll work on it a little more after practice. The clouds are starting to come out good now. I should just keep working my way up, but yeah, the clouds look a lot better. But it's better to work the clouds with a wet sky. That's why I put the blue. I put the blue back. Whoops, sorry. I put more color underneath on the sky, and then redid the clouds on a wet sky. It just looks better. So maybe it's a good idea to do the sky last. Paint it in blue and then put your clouds over the wet paint, because because this is already dry now. So what I'd have to do is put a little more blue down here, a little wet paint. Just some blue color, and then I'll work another cloud in here right now while it's the sky is kind of wet. We'll just put one right here, see what it looks like. That way you can blend it in. You could blend it into the sky. See that? Let's run one over here. Yeah, it's much easier. Then when this dries, you can come back with your a brush, and you can put some lighter highlights on maybe just some of the tops. Not too much though. Just hit a few of the tops out here with some white. Just to get some highlights back in there. See that? See how it made this cloud look better? I can see a lot of things in this cloud right here. But it's still wet. Like this one, I see more of this cloud coming over here. This has some tops on it up here. Kind of like that. You got to stand back and look at it. All right, just like that. Keep working your clouds. There's a lot of different ways. You need to practice your clouds. That's because that looks awesome right now. But did you see how much what I had to go through to do this? And sometimes it's hard to remember. It's hard to remember what you did. Like if you only paint once a month, you're not going to remember this. So maybe it's good that you record yourself if you make some cool clouds. So you got some reference to go back to remember how you did it, okay? All right, guys, there's some tips for you. I'm going to keep working on that landscape. I got to fix the land up a little more. I think I'm going to lighten this up with white back here. It's too green back there, and then lighten up the grass as it's moving towards our eye. It needs to be lighter. I like the design. Fix those trees up, put some birds up there. Alright guys, let me see if I got any visitors on here. Yeah, Carolina. How you doing? Argentina, wow. Nice to see you. welcome to the Argentina. Yeah, if any of you guys have your own channel by any chance and you want me to subscribe to it, just let me know. Just send me a message. I've got no problem following you guys too. But you got to let me know in either the comments or send me a message, because it doesn't tell me who my subscribers are for some reason. I don't know. I know I've got some subscribers, but I don't know who you are. So I think when I had my YouTube years and years ago, it used to tell you who your subscribers were, but now I don't think it tells you. It doesn't tell me because I'm using an iPad, but in my phone. All right, well, thanks for watching, people. Let me give you a few of my functions here. Uh, some of these bubbles. There we go. And some dance lights. I wish I could play music on here, but every time I put music, you get a copyright infringement on there. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. I'm glad these clouds came out pretty good at the end there. Those look really cool. There you go.